You know, something that I've noticed is there are very few people on this planet that are willing to commit, okay? Now, there's a lot of people, for example, that get married, but few commit to making that marriage work or to maximizing, making the most out of that marriage. You see, plenty of people open businesses, right? Very few are willing to commit to making that business work or making it successful. A lot of people have families, have kids, but very few commit to being the best father or mother they can be. And no differently, a lot of people go down the road of trying to better their fitness. Hell, a lot of people are even in the gym all the time, but very few commit to their fitness to maximize it so that they can improve every other area of their life. So in today's video, we're about to find out if you are one of those people or not. And if you're not, how you can become one. Let's go. It's good, YouTube. Coach John back again, repping Beyond the Iron, where I'm dropping weekly fitness content on this channel, as you already know. And if you don't, then you haven't subscribed yet, and you should if you want to get to your goals faster and in a better way. Now, with that said, like I mentioned, today's video is very straightforward. These are 10 signs, okay? 10 signs that you're winging your fitness. And by the way, there is no argument to any of these. So if you want to argue it, it's simply a direct call out to the world that you are not committed, my friend. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing is, if you haven't guessed it yet before I say it, again, you haven't subscribed, you haven't been watching my videos long enough. The first one is you're not tracking your food. You're not tracking your calories. Now tell me, how is that maximum commitment when you're not actually taking track of how much food you're intaking? Where is that food coming from, okay? Nobody's nutrition can be as perfect as possible, or as perfect as they can make it, or as optimal as they can make it without tracking it. As similarly to somebody's financial situation, not being as good as it could be if they're not tracking it, reading the information, learning from it, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. So if you're not tracking your food, that is the biggest mistake you're making, and one of the things that, again, 99% of people don't do, and shows who's committed and who isn't. The second thing is you're not tracking your workouts. Now I know this one's gonna piss off a lot of people because I think fewer people track their workouts than they track their nutrition. And again, we're talking 0.1 of 0.1% at this point, right? I see a lot of people in the gym and they're cranking the workouts. They're super strict on their diet, right? They eat clean, they're sleeping lots, they're drinking the water, they go into the gym and they're just blasting the weights as hard as they can. Or they're going to their studio workouts, their classes, whatever type of workout they're doing, and they're blasting it, okay? Or they're going on the cardio machine and they're aiming for 45 minutes, okay? What does that mean though? Why 45? Is there a reason behind it? Now, when I ask these people what their reasoning is behind why they do these exercises at these reps for these many sets, why they're training this body part here, why they're doing 45 minutes of cardio, this and that and the other, very few of them can tell me the exact reasoning behind it, meaning they actually don't have the data. They're not actually tracking and maximizing how much performance they could be squeezing out training regimen. Very few people track their workouts. And by the way, guys, if you are doing any of these or not doing any of these, comment below and let me know which ones you are doing, which ones you aren't, so that you can fix that right away. So again, make sure you track the workouts because this is the best way. I'm not saying you won't see results without doing any of these things. What I'm saying is you're just kind of winging it and you're seeing abysmal results compared to what you could be. So just imagine that. The third thing is the one that we all know but hate to hear, okay? It's consistency. Consistency. And I think a big reason why people fail at this one is because they don't actually realize what consistency means. Consistency is a lifelong play. It is a long-term play. Consistency isn't, let's see if I can do 7 weeks straight. You do 7 weeks, you're like, perfect, I get to reward myself for the next 7 days. That's most people's idea of consistency. As a matter of fact, most people's idea of consistency is 5 days of the week. Great, it's the weekend, I can relax, I was good those 5 days. That is very poor. It's actually very inconsistent, and those people are completely winging their fitness. They have not prioritized it and they have not committed to it. People that are strict, on point, on the ball, 7 days a week for weeks on end, months, years straight, because they know it's a lifelong play. They know it's a long-term game. Those are the people that committed to it, at least with their consistency, okay? And that's very admirable, and this is something that in this day and age is very rare to see, right? but so are fit people, okay? I mean, it might not seem that rare because you're going on Instagram, scrolling on Instagram all the time. It feels like that's all you see left, right, and center, but trust me, that's 0.1% of the population. You watching this right now, are you those people? If not, there you go. The fourth is not sleeping well. So that means either not having the right sleep schedule, a consistent sleep schedule, or just simply not prioritizing the quality of your sleep, having a poor sleep routine, going to sleep at whatever time, not doing something to help you sleep better, watching TV right before bed, all these types of things that are just going to be a detriment to your sleep, because sleep is the foundation of everything, not even just fitness, but of course, especially fitness. So if your routine is all over the place, that's a big sign that you're not committed to your fitness, because now obviously there's going to be times where people have jobs that requires them to be here, there, you know, there's a lot of famous people out there that have crazy schedules. In that case, it makes sense, but they still do what they can to make sure they wake up at the same time, or try to go to sleep at the same time, or have some sort of ritual to help them get the most out of their sleep. So if you're not doing any of those things, you're winging it. The fifth one kind of ties in with the third one, but that's just falling off on the weekends. This is the most common thing I hear from most people. Surprise, surprise. The weekends are the most dangerous point. However, to those who are committed, the weekends are what propel them forward. The weekends are what separate them that much more from everybody else, because what it does is it builds momentum. The weekend is a momentum killer. People have an amazing Monday to Friday, whether it's in their career, whether it's with their family, their relationships, with their sport, with their fitness, and then weekend comes along, they get loose, they drink, their friends influence them, all these different things, right? And they fall off. And next thing you know, they make a habit of falling off every 5 days, okay? For 2 days, and the next thing you know, you're starting back at square one. So if you're doing this, if the weekends are one of your worst enemies, it's just a very clear sign that you are not committed to fixing it or committed to your fitness. All right, the sixth one is drinking too much alcohol. Okay, now I actually just made a video on alcohol and fitness. Drinking too much simply means two things. One, drinking way too much in one session, and also doing it too frequently. These things do not mix, okay? They are oil and water. They will not mix. You cannot see an amazingly fit person that's drinking alcohol completely. At least they may look fit on the outside, if maybe they're on some enhancing type of supplements, if you know what I mean, but on the inside they are rotting away, their habits are shit, everything is going to go to shit because it's just inevitable. This is a destructive, detrimental habit, and so I'd hate to say I told you so, so I would say commit to the fitness now or commit to the party lifestyle, but you can't have both. Number 7, you're smoking or doing any other form of drugs, okay? It's funny because again, this day and age with the whole Instagrammers and the influencers and all that, right? You'll see there are some people out there that are smoking cigarettes, that are doing cocaine or whatever, right? And they're on steroids at the same time and doing all these other things, and they look great, right? They look amazing. And so that one, I think, is like the dumbest, most terrible influence of all time. Like, you are actually hurting the world more than you're bettering it. I guess that's just my opinion. But on top of that, it just doesn't work. It sets another unrealistic expectation of people thinking that it's okay to do both. Just like I mentioned before, I want to have an amazing party lifestyle and I want to be in amazing shape. Look, you can do both, but you're going to be mediocre at both. If you don't commit to the party lifestyle, you're not going to party as well as you could. But on the other hand, if you don't commit to the fitness lifestyle, you're not going to look or feel as good as you could. And by the way, committing to the better option of the two, which I hope is obvious which one that would be, is actually going to lead to, in the long term, partying well beyond this going out and getting drunk at clubs, okay? That's pretty old. And I'm 24 and I'm already over that because it's lame, it's bullshit. Anybody who thinks it's cool, I think is funny because they're actually completely convinced that that is what fun is. So before I go off on a huge tangent on that, the point here is, look, again, a commitment to one or the other is necessary here. You cannot commit to both. That's like committing to being single and being married at the same time. It doesn't work. And obviously, I can't go without mentioning the fact that drugs and smoking and all that destroys your health. It destroys your willpower, it destroys your brain, because it creates a habit of instant pleasure, of dependency, and of addiction. So I mean, I shouldn't really have to talk too much about this one. The ninth sign that you're winging your fitness is twofold. One, you don't know when to say no or stop, and you just basically eat whatever you want. And now, whether that be just 2 days out of the week on the weekends, tying in back to point number 5, or just in general, okay? There are days that you go over, but you don't even know because you're not tracking maybe. So all these points kind of correlate to some extent, but maybe there's times where you know you shouldn't have something because you are tracking, okay? But your friends have convinced you and you feel like, oh, I don't want to say no. Here's the best one. Here is the dumbest thing I could ever hear when people say, oh, but my friend brought me this, so I had to eat it. Oh, but it was, XYZ's birthday, so I had to have it. As if eating that food makes any difference to fun, relationships, or anything else, okay? It doesn't. It's just a poor excuse that you're making up. And if you're making those excuses, it's a very good chance that you're either, one, just simply not committed to at least this aspect of it, or two, you're doing a combination thereof of the other things. All right, the 10th and final sign that you're winging it is very straightforward, but again, extremely overlooked, and that's simply you don't have a specific goal. So let's just say you're doing all the other steps, which doesn't really make sense if you don't have number 10, but you don't have a goal. You don't have a specific aim. You just want to tone up. So you start tracking calories. I actually do see this often. You track calories, you track workouts, but you don't have a specific aim. Your goal is, I just want to tone. I want more toned arms. I want a flatter stomach, whatever the case is. But it's not specific. And what I mean by specific is how many pounds? What do you want to look like exactly? How big do you want your arms to be? How small do you want your waist to be? How long do you want to do it in? When are you trying to accomplish this goal by? And then, only then, can you exactly execute or create a plan that you can execute perfectly to reach that goal. Other than that, you still are kind of wandering in a direction, hoping that all these previous things that you're committing to is going to lead you somewhere. And it will lead you somewhere, but how do you know if that's exactly where you want to be? This always happens with people that just want to lose weight. They need to lose 100 pounds, but they don't set the goal of doing so, and so they lose a ton of weight, and they look and they're like, okay, I don't know, I think I gotta lose more weight, what do I gotta do? Then they gotta ask somebody, and they're gonna say, what do I do now? Do I build? If so, how do I do it? And it's a huge mess. So before you commit to, if you haven't yet, any of those steps and just fitness in general, which will encompass you doing all those previous steps, then make sure you have a specific target. Now, it doesn't have to be the ultimate target. Make it a shorter term target that's going to, eventually lead to a longer term target. So for example, for me, I want to get to 230 pounds within the next 10 months, or within 10 months of starting my bulk. 230 pounds solid, and I have got specific numbers for the lifts I want to hit. Okay, and then from there I reverse engineer and I see, okay, what's the best way for me to hit this? How many times a week do I gotta work out? How many calories should I eat at what time? And this, that, and the other. So it all starts with a specific goal. Very few people on this earth walk around with a direct focus, aim in life. Very few, and that goes for every aspect of life. Fitness is no exception. If you set a specific goal and you reaffirm that goal for yourself and you're chasing that goal every single day, you've already set yourself apart from 99% of the people that are not committed to their fitness. And in which case, I salute you. With that said, that's it for the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm out.